Well, Dave, we're here at the Academy Sports and Outdoors Rigs and Techniques.
I'm like a little kid in church. I can't keep quiet over here.
I know. The CCA workbench is a busy place tonight.
Yes, sir. Well,
man, what are we doing?
I've got like 18 things I want to go through, and we got 4.5 minutes. So first off, the first thing I want to say when you're going to go fishing on a bridge or a pier is, get there early. You want to get your spot, and always, you usually have a better bite early in the morning. And you can get 2 spots, which is very important. If you're on a bridge, especially, or a pier, you get a spot on one side and a spot on the other, because you never know when the wind's going to change and the current and the tide. So if you have a spot on each side, tie a rod off one on each side, and you can cover 2 spots at once. That's a good idea. A good backpack when you're on a jetty, or when you're having to walk down the rocks. Especially, if you're on a pier, you can use a nice rolling bin or something. But when you're on a jetty and you're hopping through those rocks, you need to have something to keep at least one hand free to brace yourself in case you fall in the rocks. And that's another good thing to do is have a good pair of shoes when you're on those piers. Don't go out there in your flip-flops. Because they just don't offer enough stability to keep your feet in one spot when you're walking on those granite chunks and stuff, and you can get your foot down in there and hurt. If you're going to be going out there, use some waterproof tackle boxes. A lot of these up here have gaskets in them, because when you're on the jetty, waves can come and you can get wet. Get a good assortment of hooks and weights. Make sure that you have a lot of different sizes and styles of hooks and weights both, because again, you never know what the current's going to be like, or the wind direction, or what kind of species you're going to be chasing. So you need, some big hooks if the big stuff comes, and you need some little hooks in case you want to catch bait. I got little tiny gold hooks in there, and I always bring some fish bites with me,
because you can tip your sabikis with
exactly. I can tip my R&R sabikis. I failed to bring those this today because I had a bunch of them in a bag and I left them. But you want to use either a dead shrimp or something that you can put on those little gold hooks and catch you some live bait, because you want to catch live bait. You want to use some wire, or you want to bring some wire with you, some number 4 to number 6 wire, because you never know when the bluefish or the Spanish mackerel are going to come cruising through there. And if you've only got 20-pound mono for a leader, you're going to probably lose those fish. Again, bring you some extra different styles of leader, from say 10-pound up to 50-pound if you're going to be out there. You can usually probably catch just about everything out there on 50-pound that's going to bite, unless
when you catch a eating fish, Dave, how do you land them when you're standing on a pier?
Use one of these. This is called a bridge gaff, and this is a pretty wicked thing. You
just
lower
drop
this,
it down?
You drop it down underneath the fish, get him up on the surface, and then hit him with this thing. And you could also use a bridge net. They make a big wide hoop net, about 36 inches across, and you can get underneath the fish. And that's good if you're going to be letting fish go, if you're catching fish that you want to let go. But if it's a keeper fish, this is the man right here.
So
get him in.
Can I borrow this? I might have somebody at home I need to straighten out.
That'll straighten them out for sure. That will. You want to make sure you bring a good knife. You're going to be cutting up bait and chopping up stuff when you're out there. A good bunch of floats sometimes. And a lot of times I'm out there, boy, I wish I had a float. Sometimes I don't have them. If you have a good float, bring some with you. Bring a 5-gallon bucket if you can carry it. 5-gallon bucket just does a whole lot of things. It carries a lot of stuff. You can turn it into a live well if you need to, and you can sit on it if you have to. There's a million things that you can do with that. Take three rods with you. I like to take 3 rods. I don't like to take more than that. 3's fine. I can use one light one to catch bait with. I can use a medium one to do all my casting with, and I can have one heavy rod that I can put a big live bait or a big dead bait and just let it sit and let it do its thing while I'm doing everything else. A gotcha is very important. Any little lure that's really heavy that you can throw a long way, because the worst thing in the world is to be on a jetty or a pier and you can't reach those fish that you see out there busting. So little things that weigh a lot that you can cast a long way.
I think there's more here that we need to talk about next time.
I think I got through 10 of them. Sunscreen.
You did good.
Make sure you bring some sunscreen.
Dave, your time's up, man. Hey, Brie.
Dave! Gosh.